Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is once again your inveterate reporter coming to you from Central Florida. August 29th, Friday, 2025. Another day where Americans are seeing our streets, our cities be threatened by the federal government for takeovers. Cities and states that are quote-unquote blue cities and states. You're aware, of course, that the highest crime rates are in the red states. And President 47 is not contemplating, as far as I know, sending National Guard troops, federalized military, into those states, as he has done and has threatened to do. He's done it in Washington. He is threatening to do it also in Chicago. It's possibly this weekend. Certainly some sort of immigration raid. It's getting out of hand. He won't talk about guns and gun control, which is really the issue. We had another mass shooting, as you well know, at a Catholic school where the children were praying. And we can have one day a discussion about God and that concept. The children were praying and they were mowed down. I don't know that he has said anything about that. I think his wife has, but I haven't heard anything. Although I try not to follow him because that's part of his shtick, if you will. If you saw part of that cabinet meeting yesterday, 3 hours of narcissistic sycophancy. It was sickening. I only watched a little part of it, and I knew what the script was going to be. Putin continues. He continues to lash in Ukraine, and 47 is giving him time to do his dirty work. This evening in Gaza, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, have moved in, apparently. The beginning phase of a huge operation, supposedly, to go back into Gaza. Now, President 47 was to have, remember, solved both of these wars within 24 hours, one of which was going to be solved prior to his even taking office. This is the hubris of the man that has somehow hypnotized nearly half of the American people. I just finished a book. The book was named Stalingrad. And I wish I could show it to you. I read it on my iPad. It was a very, very moving and vivid description of that battle. And I never realized how important that battle was to the setting up of the Cold War, and really it has its influences today with Russia. But the Russians are not to be underestimated. That's my point, the point I'm trying to make. They withstood the Nazis in 1942 and 43 in Stalingrad and pushed them all the way back to Berlin. This is a part of history that I really wasn't taught. I grew up in the 50s, and the victors were, of course, the United States. We won the war. We were helped by Britain and France, maybe. But basically, it was the US. That was the history that I was taught. My father, who was a veteran of World War II, told me about Stalingrad many, many years ago when I was a teenager. And I had no idea really what he was talking about, but he was describing the battle going from factory to factory, from machine to machine. And I remember him saying that and how gruesome it was, and it was. My point once again is the Russians are not to be underestimated. I hope we can resolve this situation in both areas, the Ukraine and Gaza. But more so here in the United States. All what he's doing is distractions. He's making billions with this cryptocracy gambit that he's in, a grift that he's in. Well, It is the weekend. It is the Labor Day weekend. Labor brought to you by the left, by the way, by the unions and the working man and woman. Child labor laws were instituted by the quote-unquote left. Well, good night. Have a great weekend. We'll talk over the weekend. Au revoir.